It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the first Saturday in May the 2nd, 2020. And this is an important day in the history of the Fat Travel Guy. This is World Naked Gardening Day. Now, I know that might not mean much to a lot of you folks out there, but it does to me, as I have... That's a World Naked Gardening Day. I have participated in World Naked Gardening Day for years. So it's an important day for me. Now, maybe participated isn't the exact right terminology. What I do here at the farm is I offer that if any of you folks want to come get naked, I'll provide some dirt for you to dig in. So that's how I participate in World Naked Gardening Day. And I'm all ready to go. As you can see here, I have my John Deere Lawn Ranger shirt on because I might have to get the John Deere going and fire up get some dirt dug up. I got my John Deere hat ready to go because it's going to be up in the mid-70s today and sunny. So I'm liable to get myself out there in the sun and for Naked Gardening Day. So that's today. Now, it also being the first Saturday in May, see, it used to be that every year after the nakedity was done, then I'd come in the house and put on a big floppy hat and watch the Kentucky Derby. Well, this year I can't watch the Kentucky Derby because instead of the first Saturday in May, they're having it in November or some silly thing. So today I have a choice of watching the Arkansas Derby. Do they even have horses in Arkansas? Or I can watch the Kentucky Turtle Derby, which is featuring a couple turtles, one Seattle Slow and the other one Galapagos are two of the turtles in the Kentucky Turtle Derby, which will be held later on today. So that's a little silliness to get started for the day, World Naked Gardening Day. So if you want to get naked, come on, I'll give you some dirt to dig in. Got a whole bunch of people in chatting already this morning. Bonnie was here early. Jason popped in and said, my content's been good lately. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Jason says he looks forward to this episode, probably because it's Naked Gardening Day. Tom Henry's with us. Hey, Tom, good to see you. Gretchen's here. Oh, we got a nice crew to start off the day with. That's great. Bonnie says, just drink a mint julep. Well, actually, Bonnie, the Old Forester is sponsoring the Turtle Derby, Kentucky Turtle Derby, and you can make them in tulips out of Old Forester. I'm just pointing that out as we go. So, all right, one story this morning, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, folks. I'm a little worried about the story for today, and that is the situation that Carnival finds itself in. The U.S. House Committee on Transportation, that's part of Congress, those folks up there in Washington. The U.S. House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure has called for Carnival Carnival Corporation to hand over just a ton of documents relating to its response to the COVID-19 outbreaks on its ships that infected, 1,500 people and resulted in a bunch of deaths. The committee, which says it has jurisdiction over maritime transportation issues, made the requests in letters sent to Carnival CEO Arnold Donald, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Now, the thing that bothers me the most about this, folks, is not, in fact, that Congress is, it's not a subpoena yet, but they have requested the records. The wording of the whole thing I find a little troubling, in that it looks to me like this is going to be another witch hunt with a bunch of folks that don't know the first thing about cruising, very similar to what the CDC did to the cruise industry with their regulations that they issued recently, in addition to their 100 days without cruising. But just a little bit worried about this whole situation, is, I guess, the best way of putting it. The request said that we hope that the reality of COVID-19 pandemic will place a renewed emphasis on public health and passenger safety, but frankly, it has not been seen up to this point. It seems as though Carnival Corporation and its portfolio of 9 cruise lines, which represent 109 cruise ships, is still trying to use the cruise line fantasy and ignoring the public health threat. It's just something about their wording on this troubles me. Carnival Corporation confirmed that they have received the letter, and they said that they tend to fully cooperate. Well, yeah, folks, for a long time, I try to stay so that I don't owe any cruise line anything, and I'll take them to task when I need to. And I've taken Carnival to task on numerous issues over the years. This isn't one of them, though. You can't blame the whole pandemic on the cruise industry. And it looks to me like here you got a bunch of people in Washington that's going to try to do just that, after the CDC has already taken their hide out of the cruise industry once. So I'm more and more troubled about the whole thing. Carnival, of course, is going to, they say their statement on it from the CEO is, our goal is the same as the committee's goal to protect health, safety, and well-being of our guests and crew, along with compliance and environmental protection, the company said in its statement. And of course, we all know that Carnival has had environmental protection issues over the years. The letter that was sent out is signed by Peter DeFazio, an Oregon Democrat who chairs the committee, and Sean Maloney, a New York Democrat and chair of the Maritime Transportation Subcommittee. The congressman requested a range of documents from the company, including all records that reference COVID-19, and they requested that Carnival begin to deliver the documents by May 15th. And hell, Carnival could fill up a boatload of documents, I would think. So, and I hope they bury them in it. But anyway, our committee, the U.S. Congress, and the American public need to be assured that the global cruise line industry and Carnival Corporation, and Princess in particular, are instituting necessary measures to ensure that the safety of the traveling public and crew members will be the #1 priority when the ships set sail again. So, of course, the CDC has their 100 days without sailing in effect. It runs up until July 24th. Currently, they won't let any, on the American ships, won't let any of the cruise ships get crew members off at any American port unless the cruise lines provide private transportation to their home port. They can't get off of a cruise ship and take a bus over to the airport and get loaded on a plane to fly to the Philippines or wherever their home is. They have to, the cruise ships, a cruise line would have to provide private transportation to get the folks home. So that's why you see the cruise ships now. They met the other day and they're shuffling crew members around and sailing them home. So it's just, I don't know, but CDC is part of the government. It's at least they have some independent people within the CDC, and I don't know how much they're being muzzled or not. But anyway, it's just a mess, and it looks to me like Congress is going to get involved and make it that much worse. Interesting interview on the day before, Carnival CEO Arnold Donald said that he is unsure when the cruise line industry will cover from the cancellations caused by COVID-19. And he admitted to Fox Business Liz Klayman on Thursday that at this point they're taking reservations, but clearly they have no idea what the rest of the world, along with the rest of the world, on what will happen to the cruise industry. We know that the day is coming that they'll sail. We just don't know exactly when. We'll have to wait and see when the world is ready for social gathering. We still have environmental practices that have to be executed, and they still have crew members aboard, as he's taking a shot at the CDC without being specific about it. They have 50,000 crew members that they're still trying to repatriate back to their home countries. So the Carnival CEO has no idea when cruises will sail again. And that was said on public TV on Thursday. And then yesterday you had the Congress going after Carnival. So I'm not happy with that outcome whatsoever. I'm worried just the attitude and wording is suspect to me. It's my particular position. I'm not going to go as far as some of the other influencers, one in particular in the business, that are saying that cruising may not start until 2022. I don't think it's going to be that long. But my friend Bruce makes an interesting article in Traveling by Bruce. If you guys don't follow him, you should. It makes an interesting argument on that very thing, that cruising is not going to happen at all next year. So I'm not going that far, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if we don't see cruises this year. That's my personal opinion. Not that I'm projecting anything, but that's the way I read the situation. Okay, going to stop a second here for a commercial break. I'll be right back. Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise. All right, got a bunch of comments to look at, so let's jump over to comments. All right, where was I here? Bonnie, Gretchen, Jason, everybody's. Tom Henry says, I got weeds to pull. Yeah, I could watch out for thorns, Bonnie says, and bees. Bonnie, I worry more about snakes and critters, but I'm just teasing about that. But anyway, if you guys want to get naked, come on over. I'll give you some dirt to dig in. Absolutely. Tom Henry says, we have 100% attendance today. Sweet. Yes, indeed, Tom. I like that. Jason thought that was funny. Just drink a mint julep. I mentioned that one. Enter Tina in the Derby. Oh, no, that would be pretty cool. Except she's the wrong kind of turtle, Tom, unfortunately. Britt Casey. There's a new name. From Louisville, Kentucky. Awesome. Brent, my son, lives in Louisville. I go out there all the time. Matter of fact, I've been out there for a couple Derby parties, as a matter of fact. Unfortunately, you guys are going to do the Turtle Derby this year. So good to have Brent with us. See, Bonnie says I can have some Kentucky bourbon. Bonnie, there is a bottle of Elijah Craig in the kitchen. ready for this afternoon when I go out. If I go out poolside, of course, I've got an empty pool now. Most of you might have seen that yesterday was the emptying of the pool. It started the night before last, and through midday yesterday, the pool is now emptied, other than just a little bit down in the deep end. And the pool guys are coming in to take the old liner out. They've got to construct the steps and put them in. And then I think they have to get the proper measurements with the steps in place to the liner manufacturer, who then finishes up the liner and ships it to us. And so I don't know. It's going to be a couple of weeks before we put water back in the pool. Tom Henry said, Bruce is off the deep end, forced me to visit CTTV last night. Sherry was more positive. I would think so, Tom. I don't see Bruce's position on that one, but on the same token, you guys that are scheduled in July, y'all are done. I'm sorry, but we're not going to have any cruising this summer. I just don't see it. I can't, as much as I'd like to say that we are. I don't know, especially before we can cruise again. The CDC's got to make some changes, and for them to make changes back to favor the cruise industry is going to be some problems. I'm afraid, unless they get some kind of push from on high, which I'm not sure will do. Gretchen says wild turkey will do. Now, wild turkey on a National Gardening Day. Now, you're probably right there. Instead of my Elijah Craig, I should have gotten a bottle of wild turkey, since I'll be out on the farm for Naked Gardening Day. That would be in line, Gretchen. I have to admit that one. Tom says welcome to Brent. I hope they find other fish to fry. That's back in reference to the Congress again. The president has executive privilege. Nothing to worry about. Well, yeah, okay. Robert Luquette says hello. Good to see you here, Robert. Tom Henry, I say let's gang up on the WHO instead. They were not proactive at closing down transportation. There's some interesting arguments against the whole World Health Organization and their lack of responsiveness at the time. And now there's at least some interesting research going on as to this lab over there being the actual cause of it, as opposed to the marketplace. I don't know. It's a bunch of crap going on. So Carnival is in trouble. Not. Carnival's got the money to survive this. All three of the majors have made steps to come up with a great deal of capital to keep them afloat, and Carnival is right up there with it. Whether the people are critical of how it was done or not, but anyway, they've got the cash to survive this, I hope. Amy Rogers, good to have you with us, Amy. She's late, but she's here. We appreciate anybody, whether it's late or not, especially on Naked Gardening Day. Amy, you'll have to go back and watch the replay, so you'll get caught up to date on Naked Gardening Day. By the way, folks, it's going to be in the mid-70s here today. It's going to be in the mid-80s tomorrow. I might have to get closer to naked tomorrow and work on the tan a little bit. It's going to be a really nice day tomorrow. Arlene Adams is with us. She says, hi, Chillie. Hi, Arlene. Welcome aboard. Brent says, my sailing on Carnival is out of Miami on July the 4th, wondering why they haven't canceled it yet if the CDC goes through to the July 24th. That's one of the $1 million questions, Brent. I had a cruise canceled. It's actually next week, 2 weeks or 10 days from now, I was supposed to sail to Alaska, and Norwegian was way late in canceling that cruise too. I think the reason they're doing it is they're trying to go in segments a little bit at a time. Each one of the cruise line is suspending operation to a certain date. Carnival has only suspended their operations, voluntarily suspended their operation until I think it's June 28th. So they're officially they're going to be sailing after June 28th. Now the CDC that's a whole nother issue, and they're basically saying there's going to be no sailing until the 24th. But there is a back out that the CDC could get out of that and change things back if the whole situation changes with all of the infrastructure being open. But keep in mind, Brent, to cruise, especially Carnival out of Miami, excuse me, you've got to have the airlines going, you got to have the hotels going, you got to have the buses going to take people from the airport to the docks, you got to have all the personnel in place in the port, and not only to mention all the personnel of the cruise lines to get you on and off the ship. And then Carnival's got to have their crew back on the ship, and all of their crew members, excuse me, they're trying to get home right now. So that tells me that they know what's happening. They're just not announcing it yet. As much as I'd love to say, Brent, I hope you go in July, I have a feeling you're not. There's I think about 3 people that are in the chat room right now are all in the same boat that had cruises scheduled like that first week in July, and it looks very doubtful. To me, it's totally doubtful. But and I hate to say that, but that's basically the way it is. Emily's with us. Good morning, Chillie. How are you doing? I'm doing great, darling. Glad you're with us today. Gretchen says she would go, but who would let us dock? That's the other thing. All of the ports of call currently are not letting any cruise ships come into port, even the ones that are sailing around with crew members on board. Then nobody's sick or any of that. They're still not letting them dock and get off the boats. So it's just all that kind of stuff's got to change before we can start cruising again, and that's not going to happen overnight. Amy's from Rhode Island. It's a beautiful sunny day in Rhode Island. Yeah, it's going to be nice all the way up and down the East Coast today. It's great since it's Naked Gardening Day. I mean, there's people can get naked all the way up and down the East Coast and get out and dig in the dirt. Can you see my fat body out naked? No, that's dead. So anyway, that's what's happening there. There was one other story that I had a little bit of a problem with that broke last night, I guess it was. The Norwegian gym, the medical director, Dr. Alex Guevara, I believe is the way he pronounced his name, passed away night before last during the night. And from all indications, the man had a heart attack in his sleep. Jim Walker, who is a maritime lawyer and blogger, has tried to turn this into a COVID cover-up, saying that a crew member from the Norwegian gym has informed him that Norwegian is trying to cover up the death of this doctor, that he in fact had COVID-19. Now, the research that I have been able to carry off from here is I have found no credible evidence whatsoever that the man did anything other than he just passed away from a heart attack. He had no symptoms through the day before yesterday, before he went to bed. As a matter of fact, he was packing because he was in the rotation to leave the ship and go back home. His contract was up and he was on his way back home and had packed during the day. He had indicated no symptoms of COVID-19, nor had he been tested for COVID-19. The man apparently passed away from a heart attack. And they're trying to come up with this big story of NCL covering it up. And I just don't see it. And again, it's an outsider of the industry, although Mr. Walker has been on the outskirts of the industry for a long time and has reported on a lot of things and correctly reported. But this is one I just don't buy. I mean, it might come out that there's more to the story than I can find, but at this point, I don't see anything other than the sad situation that a medical doctor on board the Norwegian gem passed away. And I don't see anything untoward about that. But anyway, that's just it. Let's see what we got going over here. I just saw raccoons. Raccoons need a bath too. I must have missed something back up there that we got talking about raccoons. Bonnie says Sherry was busy making cruise adult beverages. Oh yeah, that's cool. Been about 10 years since I had my pool refinished. It was a long process. Yeah, I'm not, I'd love to be able to get back out there and get in the pool if it's warm enough. Of course, I'm a sissy. I don't get in the pool till the 4th of July. Tom says Bonnie has a pool. Let's go visit a pool for her critters. Yeah, there we go. Bonnie and her dogs in a pool. That'd be cool. I could deal with that. Some of you that are new to this channel realize that there's a bunch of us that fool around a lot. Tom is one of them, as is Bonnie and me, and Jason. We have some fun. Anyway, Jason says, boy, I'm going to get banned. No, you're not, Jason. I'm not banning anybody because you at least didn't use the full spelling of that word. So, we don't worry about that. Bonnie's will get the soap out. Yeah, she'll do that. She says, don't worry. We'll just wash your mouth out or your keyboard with a bar soap. So that's neither fun. So anyway, that's all that I had for this morning, guys. Again, a big important day here at the farm, Naked Gardening Day. And I'm all ready for it. And then, of course, the Turtle Derby. Gotta watch Seattle Slow run in the Kentucky Turtle Derby. And I don't know who's televising that. Somebody probably is. So anyway, that wraps us up for the weekend. You guys have a wonderful weekend. We got some fabulous weather. I will leave you with this. Most of you know that I have disinfectant protocols that I use a lot. And I have just recently gone to some personal medical protocols with Crown Royal that I spray 3 times a day as an anti-coronavirus treatment. I spray that in my throat 3 times a day. And that way, my Elijah Craig, I can say for drinking, spray with the Crown Royal, and I disinfect with the Jack. So that's my answer to everything. So that's it for this weekend. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys again on Tuesday. Remember, Monday, I get that tooth pulled. So I might be a chipmunk come Tuesday morning, but I'm planning on being here, folks. And of course, if anything happens over the weekend, I'll get back live again or get up with the video. So that wraps it up for today. Thanks all of you guys for being here and participating this morning. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Be good to each other and be good at everything you do, and stay home and stay healthy and stay safe out there. We'll see you later. This is the Fat Travel Guy. Later, y'all.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.